Hello everyone, I hope you are having a good day or night. My name is Blagorodna and I'm wishing you the warmest welcome to a new perspective, a podcast that talks about gender-based violence. Today we will be joined by our guest Elena to address this sensitive yet widespread issue, cultural and social roots of gender-based violence with a special focus on stereotypes and power imbalances. Hello Elena, thank you for being with us.
Hello, thank you for your invitation.
When it comes to today's topic, I will share a situation with you. Yesterday I was at the park and I saw two children playing. The boy was playing with a Barbie doll and the girl was playing with a car. Even if they were so young and little, people thought they were inverted. So, my question is, do you perceive this situation like a stereotype?
I absolutely perceive this situation as being driven by a stereotype, and here is why. The stereotype at play is the idea of strict gender roles, specifically that toys are gendered. Dolls, like Barbies, are for girls, while cars and trucks are for boys. Behavior is gendered. Nurturing and caregiving play is feminine, while active and mechanical play is masculine. In the situation you described, the children were simply playing with the toys they enjoyed. There is nothing inherently inverted or wrong about a boy playing with a doll or a girl playing with a car or truck. The perception that they are inverted comes entirely from the stereotypes, not from the children's actions. The people in the park saw the children through the lens of their pre-existing belief. Their reaction shows how powerful and unconscious these stereotypes can be. They are applied even to very young children. The strict division of roles between the genders is certainly a stereotype that needs to be overcome. We should not differentiate between the genders with children and impose a division of roles. Who should play with what, how one should dress, which colors are appropriate for boys or girls, which games are for boys or girls, and etc. A sense of equality should be nurtured from the earliest stage to overcome prejudices and stereotypes.
Do you have any concrete examples of a stereotype in your everyday life?
Yes, I have more examples of stereotypes. For example, in my neighborhood, in two families, the wives are silent. Their voice or their opinion is not heard or respected. They're actually afraid to give their opinion or any kind of suggestion because they believe their opinion is not important, that the men are the ones who know best and have the right to decide over them because they provide the financial means for the family. Here I can give you concrete examples I encounter or observe regularly. A strong stoic man, something like emotional woman stereotype. Here is a situation. A young boy falls and scrapes his knee. A common, almost reflexive reaction from an adult might be, "Don't cry, be a big boy," or "You're a tough man, shake it off." The stereotype here is this reinforces the idea that men and boys should suppress their emotions, especially sadness or fear, them to be strong, while it's more socially acceptable for girls and women to express their feelings. This can be harmful to mental health for all genders, not just for the woman or the man. Like a second stereotype I can give is techie is an antisocial young man. In a situation like when someone needs help with a complex software or hardware issue, they might say, "Let me find a young guy to figure this out," automatically overlooking women or older colleagues. The stereotype here is This assumes that technological prowess is primarily the domain of young men, often picturing them as introverted or socially awkward. This can create a barrier for the many talented women and people of all ages in the STEM fields. Like a third example, I can give the assertive woman as a bossy, assertive man as a leader. The situation here in a meeting, a woman speaks up decisively to direct a project. The same behavior from a male colleague is seen as confident leadership. But when she does it, it might be described behind her back as aggressive or bossy. This stereotype here is that the double standard penalizes women for demonstrating the very leadership qualities that are praised in men, creating a significant hurdle in the workplace. These stereotypes are powerful, I can see, because they are often unconscious. The first step to countering them is to recognize them when they appear in our own thoughts or in the world around us.
Why do you think that most people have the idea that men are stronger and more capable than women in the workplace? For example, here in Macedonia, personally and professionally.
In my opinion, that is also a stereotype. Personally, I believe that women are not only equal to men, but are also emotionally stronger than them in certain situations. I think that men might be physically stronger than women in certain professions, where physical strength is applied. However, considering that technology is advancing and thus there is no need for physical strength, I believe that any job can be done equally by women. It is hard to break old habits. For a very long time, society had strict rules. Men worked in public jobs, while women managed the home. Even though this has changed, the old-fashioned idea that men fit in leadership and though jobs still lingers in people's minds. What we can see and what we can believe. If most bosses, engineers or politicians you see are men, it's easy to start thinking, that's just how it is. It becomes a cycle. People expect men to be leaders, so they promote them, which makes it look normal, and the cycle continues. It's harder for women to break in when the path isn't as well worn. Mistaking assertive or for capable. That's one often when a man is direct and confident, he is called a leader. When a woman acts the same way, she might be called bossy or aggressive. This double standard makes it seem like a woman are less capable when in reality they are just being judged by a different unfair set of rules. In Macedonia specifically, you have a mix of old traditional views and modern ideas. Many people, especially the older generation, still hold on to the classic family model. At the same time, many modern Macedonian women are highly educated and successful professionals. This creates a conflict between the old way of thinking and the new reality.
Here is a more deeper and profound question. In your opinion, is this behavior more common in urban or rural areas? How to handle and prevent this kind of situations?
This is an excellent and profound question you adversed. It gets to the heart of how social norms are shaped by environment and what we can actually do about them. In my opinion, the stereotype-driven behavior is often more visible and openly expressed in rural areas, but it is by no means absent in urban areas. It just manifests differently. In the countryside, stereotypes are often obvious and openly stated. Cities often have more systemic and subtle forms of the same stereotypes. This requires action on two levels: how we handle it in the moment and how we prevent in long term. How to handle in the situation, in the moment. You could say it's great to see kids exploring different kinds of play. It helps them develop all kinds of skills. Or isn't it wonderful that they feel free to play with what they enjoy? Or I've never thought about toys as being for one gender. Why do you think we do that? Normalize their behavior. Simply act as if it's the most normal thing in the world, because it should be. How to prevent this situation on long term? First, you can do education from the earliest age. At home, offer children different toys and activities without labels. Let boys see their fathers cooking and cleaning. Let girls see their mothers fixing things and managing finances. In schools, for example, implement curricula that teach emotional intelligence and challenge gender stereotypes. Discuss historical figures who broke barriers. Use inclusive language. For second, on long term, you can use media literacy and representation. Support and create media like books, shows, movies that show people in non-stereotypical roles. Point out stereotypes in advertising and old movies to children to teach them to think critically. As a third example, on a long term, community and policy changes. Workshops and community events that celebrate diverse roles can be powerful. Companies can implement trainings, ensure pay equity, and create clear, transparent pathways to promotion for everyone. Support and amplify the voices of people who are challenging these norms: male nurses, female engineers, stay-at-home dads, etc. Prevention is about consistently showing through action and policy that a person's capabilities and worth are determined by their character and talents, not by their gender. Stereotypes exist in all areas, urban and rural, but perhaps in urban settlements their scope is smaller. Maybe we should work on educating the population and raising people's awareness in order to overcome situations caused by the presence of stereotypes.
Thank you so much for listening, and a special thanks to our guest for helping us dive deeper into this important issue.
Big thanks for inviting me and for the possibility to express myself in this very important topic.
Thank you for being here. Now, in our next episode, we will dive deeper in the topic intimate partner violence, dynamics, and warning signs.